Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. It's Dr. Manjiri Nadkarni, Ayurvedic MD and registered holistic nutritionist. I'm back for another live. So, for today's Wellness Wednesday, we are going to discuss all about dementia prevention, right? So, when we talk about memory, right, memory loss, everybody seems to be losing memory nowadays. Hi, Isha. Most clients, they will come to me, they'll talk about, oh, I forget where I put my keys, I'm forgetting names of different people, I'm forgetting, you know, uh, what I had last night, So, am I losing my mind? Am I losing my memory? What's going on, right? So, that is one of the reasons why we have to differentiate between age related memory loss, and we also have to differentiate between actual dementia, right? So, age related memory loss, now it is a myth that everybody has to lose their memory as you age. So, memory loss is not going to be like a normal aging process. Like dementia is not a normal aging process, right? Losing some memory, forgetfulness definitely can be a part of aging process, but developing dementia, which is progressive memory loss, which is the condition where there is cognitive impairment. So you may not just forget about people's names, you may actually forget they are your children or they are your family members. People having dementia often forget important activities, whether they've taken meals or not, right? Whether they've taken medications. So, dementia happens when there is a significant impairment in your memory, which is progressive, it is chronic, and it is affecting your daily life. It is affecting your ability to stick to a normal routine. It is affecting, your health as well, right? So you may find it difficult to learn new things. You may find it difficult to complete the tasks that once you were really familiar with, right? And it is something that, your day to day activities, you are completely forgetting. You're forgetting language as well, right? So if you're constantly forgetting words, substituting with words that don't fit in the conversation, sometimes there is disorientation to time and place. So there can be people where they have no idea, suddenly, like, where am I? There can be impaired judgment, there can be problems with misplaced thinking, like your wallet, your keys, and it happens all the time. So if you put, for example, your wristwatch in the fridge, right, there could be changes in mood behavior. Now this often goes unnoticed for dementia, but this is one of the most common things that, often a person who's very jovial suddenly starts being extremely angry, irritable, right? They may change the language, the words they use may change. They may suddenly start, cursing, and if they haven't cursed before, right? So that is another big change. There can be personality changes as well. Sometimes a person can be extremely suspicious, right? The forgetfulness is going to lead to suspicion that somebody's stealing or somebody's taking my things away, right? There can also be a lot of fear, there can be lack of interest, there can be lack of, any kind of initiative. So these are signs that will indicate towards dementia, and especially they start affecting your daily life, and that is the difference between dementia and normal memory loss. So about 40% people will start losing a little bit of the memory. They forget smaller things like, oh, what have I eaten, what am I missing? Or you will forget occasional friend's name, but that is not something that's affecting your ability or affecting your life. When that starts happening, that's actual dementia. Dementia can be very risky. There can be seniors, who are very prone to it. They can forget to take medication. Sometimes they can also forget and take twice the amount of medication, which can actually be life threatening. If you're taking double the amount of a blood pressure medication, or if you're taking double the amount of a blood sugar balancing medication, of course that's going to shoot your blood sugar too low, or really it's going to lower your blood pressure too low. So that itself could be life threatening, right? So if you are noticing these signs around your friends or any of the family members, please get them some help, right? So this is the main difference between age related memory loss and dementia. So dementia is not a normal condition. So that's the one thing everybody needs to realize, right? That often mixing up words, forgetting things once in a while is fine. But if it's affecting your day to day function, it is dementia, right? So dementia is very common as we age. Again, it's not a normal part of aging. There are people, there are seniors who live into 90s and they absolutely have no signs of dementia. And I've known so many of my clients who are well into 80s and their memory is perfectly fine, right? So it is a progressive condition. While there is no cure known for dementia, certain foods, certain herbs can help, right? Protect your brain. And that is exactly what we are going to talk about. So I have quite a few people join me here. Isha is here, Vrinda is here, Rachnil, Anu Ayurveda is here, Atreya Clinic is here. So thank you all for joining. If you have any questions, please put it in the comments. And if there is one of your favorite brain foods, I'm going to talk about some brain foods today. And if there is a food that you absolutely love for consumption that's helping you protect your brain, I would love to know. So please post it in the comments, right? So let's get started. We're going to talk about 5 foods that support brain function. The first one that I absolutely love is fatty fish, right? So fatty fish is, any kind of salmon or kingfish, mackerel in India. You don't get the Indian varieties of fish, but those who choose to have non vegetarian meals or animal proteins, fish is a way better option for you when it comes to your brain health as compared to any red meat or even poultry, right? So fattier fish has good amounts of omega 3, and it also helps with great skin. It helps with your boosting your brain, it boosts your cognitive function. Omega 3s are known to lower the inflammation in the brain, right? And that is one of the reasons why, if you are someone who loves animal protein, fatty fish is a really good option. Again, I'm not talking about shrimp. Shrimp is not really studied for anything we are not talking about crustaceans, but we're talking about fatty fish. We're looking at mackerel, we're looking at even kingfish, we're looking at salmon, we are looking at sardines, right? So omega 3s are also helpful to protect against depression. So if you are into animal protein, definitely make sure you switch over to fish and have it at least 3 to 4 times in your diet a week, and replace your poultry or meat with it, right? So that's number one. Second one is exactly what Vrinda talked about, walnuts, right? So walnuts do look like mini brains, and in Ayurveda there is a siddhanta or a rule that anything that looks like an object usually helps support it. So walnuts look like mini brains, and walnuts are one of the best foods for improving your brain function. Again, they're really rich in omega 3s, and they will lower the inflammation, and they are just fantastic, and they're also helpful for preventing depression. now, ideally, having walnuts first thing when you wake up is really good, right? So, if you are used to having coffee on an empty stomach, don't do so. You can have maybe 4 to 6 walnuts, chew them when you wake up in the morning, and then you can have your coffee, right? So the third food, we've talked about fish, we've talked about walnuts. The third food is my favorite berry, and it's also better than the common blueberry, right? So the best kind of berry to have for brain function is amla berry, right? So amla berry is rich in phytonutrients, it's rich in vitamin C, it can fight your free radicals that attack and damage the brain cells. It also balances the pitta, right? So if you are someone who tends to get angry, if you are somebody who tends to get you're irritable very easily, and that irritation is uh, or you have a lot of brain inflammation as well, amla berry is really cooling, pitta balancing, fantastic herb or fantastic berry, and you can actually eat it, right? So in the summer season, when amla berries are fresh, you can steam them, you can have them raw, you can make a syrup out of them, however you like it, add it to your salad. You can also get dried sweetened amla berries, and those work fantastic. Now, for those who don't have access to amla berry, you can go for blueberries, right? So blueberries have something called anthocyanins, which have anti-inflammatory, antioxidant um, attributes. So that is another option you can definitely have. Now, when it comes to vegetables, there is one vegetable that I really like and that I include in my diet, and that's broccoli, right? So, broccoli has good amounts of vitamin K. Vitamin K is a fat soluble vitamin, and that is seen to be essential for forming sphingolipids, that is a type of fats that is packed into your brains, right? So, if you are eating vegetables and there is one vegetable that you really want to include in your diet, cooked broccoli is fantastic. And broccoli also helps with liver detox. Broccoli also helps with excess estrogen detox. So, that is an additional benefit as a woman, right? So, definitely having broccoli in your diet is fantastic for your brain. Pumpkin seeds are my favorite seeds. When we talk about omega 3s, often people talk about chia seeds or flax seeds. But if you are looking at brain function, pumpkin seeds are packed with different nutrients that will help support your cognitive health. We are talking about zinc, we are talking about magnesium, we are talking about copper, we are talking about iron. That is all loaded into this pumpkin seeds, right? So, copper is good for nerve signaling, right? Zinc is also important for memory retention. Magnesium can help eliminate a lot of stress and lower the inflammation in the brain. And that is one reason why you should start having pumpkin seeds in your diet. You can just throw some into your salad, and it will work as a fantastic brain food. So, a quick recap: we talked about fatty fish, we talked about walnuts, we talked about amla berries. If you can't get your hands on amla berries, blueberries is the next choice. Broccoli, fantastic for vitamin K, and pumpkin seeds are loaded with zinc. Pumpkin seeds are loaded with iron, copper, as well as magnesium, which is fantastic for brain health. Now, let's talk about some herbs, right? So, what's your favorite? I know a few of you are watching here online. I can see you live. So, what's your favorite herb that you include in your daily diet, which helps you with your brain function? Have you tried anything so far? My favorite herb that I have on a daily basis in the form of spice is turmeric, right? So, Isha says Brahmi, which is fantastic, but most people don't realize that turmeric or haridra is also a fantastic herb, and curcumin has been seen to cross the blood brain barrier, and it can definitely reduce the inflammation in the brain. Turmeric is also an antioxidant, and you will find several studies on Alzheimer's where curcumin, which is the active principle of turmeric, has also helped clear the amyloid plaques that are the hallmark of this Alzheimer's disease, right? So, turmeric also will help with depression. Turmeric also helps your brain cells grow, right? So, your brain, we require newer cells all the time. So curcumin is also boosting the brain derived neurotropic factor, which is a kind of growth hormone that helps your cells grow, and that is how it's helping your brain function so much better. And turmeric also has a lot of benefit on lowering overall body inflammation, joint inflammation. So make sure, if you start your day with coffee, rather start it with turmeric milk. Just half a teaspoon in a cup of dairy or non-dairy milk should work wonders for your mind and memory, right? Second one is brahmi. So Isha, I love brahmi, I absolutely love brahmi. But just because turmeric is accessible to everyone way easily than Brahmi, I decided to talk about turmeric first. Brahmi, again, or Bacopa moneri, absolutely fantastic plant. Right now, I have Brahmi as well as Gotu Kola, both growing in my garden right now. And there are tons of studies done on Bacopa. with Alzheimer's disease as well as Parkinson's disease, different kinds of epilepsy, different kinds of dementia. And every time Bacopa has been successful, Bacopa has a neuroprotective effect. So it actually protects your brain cells from any kind of damage. It also will modulate, it will make sure that you're secreting the right amounts of certain neurotransmitters like acetylcholine or 5-hydroxytryptamine as well as dopamine, right? So we see in Parkinsonism that there is lowered amount of dopamine. So here Bacopa is actually going to boost your production. It's going to normalize the secretion of your neurotransmitters, right? And that is how it really helps. Bacopa also helps in other conditions where we look at schizophrenia or certain conditions where there is high amounts of dopamine. It's going to regulate that as well. And that is why when it comes to mental health disorders or cognitive function, Bacopa has been always considered the number one, right? So Brahmi is the herb in Ayurveda, and Brahmi is literally the word Brahma means the ultimate knowledge, the creator, the ultimate truth, right? And that's where the word Brahmi comes from, right? So it is the herb that really helps you, uh, think clearly, develop that clarity of mind. It is also a very spiritual herb. So if you are into meditation practices, this is really going to take your meditation to the next level, right? So Sean says Brahmi, he's been taking again. Tulsi is fantastic, and neem as well. And he takes turmeric all the time as well. Yeah, neem again, one of my favorite herbs. I use it for a lot of cleansing and especially skin related conditions, right? Now the third one I'm going to talk about is Gotu Kola. Gotu Kola, again, fantastic. It's called Manduk Parni. Again, I have it growing in my garden, which I saved from last year. So Gotu Kola, fantastic herb, and it helps with mental clarity. It will help you fight oxidative stress, and it is really, really good for your brain. And if you are growing it like me, you can actually have a salad made of Gotu Kola. It is not that difficult to procure Gotu Kola. I got it from Richter's in Scarborough, and I just saved a little bit, and now I have a full batch of herbs growing, right? So it's fantastic. Even Brahmi, I saved a little from last year, and now I have a nice herb garden with my Brahmi and Gotu Kola. The fourth one is something that has been used in ancient Greece for a long time. Can anyone guess what that is? So this is a herb that has been used in ancient Greece for a long time, right? So this herb is called rosemary. Did you know that the ancient Greeks would wear necklaces made of rosemary, right? So they would just have garlands and necklaces made of rosemary, and they would wear it around their neck. And there are studies done on rosemary that just by smelling rosemary, it will support your cognition, right? So there is a study where participants were exposed to the aroma of rosemary, and they had to perform certain visual processing tasks and some subtraction tasks, and both the speed and the accuracy of the tasks was increased in people who were given rosemary aroma, right? So rosemary, having the herb in your food, is fantastic. Whenever you cook your food, even if you add a little strands of rosemary, it's going to be fantastic. Rosemary goes well with potatoes, any kind of meat that you're eating. I like to keep a rosemary plant next to my work desk at home, and I just smell it all the time. I absolutely love it. Again, rosemary is something that I'm growing in my garden. I tried growing turmeric as well, but I wasn't successful this year. Last year, I had a good batch of turmeric. So these are herbs you can also grow in your garden, especially in the growing season. Now, the fifth one that I'm going to talk about today that absolutely helps with any kind of circulation. So, if you have problems related to circulation in your body or your brain, this herb is going to support you, right? So, ginkgo biloba is what I'm talking about. Ginkgo is a fantastic herb that is important for improving the circulation to your brain. right? It also acts as an antioxidant, and there are studies done that it can help with memory problems caused by dementia or Alzheimer's, right? So it will prevent the progression of the symptoms, especially if there are any narrowing of arteries or plaques that are formed in your brain which are causing these memory related issues, right? So ginkgo, another fantastic herb. Again, it is my duty to talk that, always consult a practitioner before taking the herbs. If you are on any prescription drugs, please do not take any over the counter herbs. They may interact with your medication, so please talk to someone, set up a consult with a practitioner. If you want to work with me, feel free to message me for a 15-minute free consultation and we can discuss more about your health. But please do not take herbs off the counters and just start taking them, right? If you, especially if you're on prescription drugs, you want to make sure you're taking the right dosage, you're taking the right kind of herb that's going to help you, right? So just a quick recap on 5 herbs that are my favorite for brain function, right? The first one is turmeric. Absolutely love it. It's also a known anti-inflammatory throughout your body. Bacopa is one of the best things for cognitive function. It is used in all kinds of mental health problems, as well as mood disorders, as well as cognitive issues to do with memory. Gotu kola, again, fantastic herb for any kind of, mental health related issue as well as cognitive issues. Rosemary is fantastic for cognition. So if you are a student, always make sure you keep a rosemary pot next to you and keep smelling it between, your tasks, and that's really going to boost your memory. And ginkgo will help with circulation in the entire body, especially circulation in your brain, and that is how it's going to boost your memory, right? Now, I know a few of you are still watching here live. I'm going to ask you to um, write down your favorite herb from the few that I have discussed here. So what's your favorite herb from everything that we have been discussing? I would absolutely love to know, your favorite herb that you're taking. Any other questions? No. Turmeric all the time. Perfect. Yeah. So turmeric, again, my favorite. So that's all for today. I'm trying to keep this short and sweet and still they're 20 minutes long. If you have any questions relating dementia, any food or herbs, please post them in the comments below. If you have a friend or a family member that is struggling with memory related issues or has a history of, family history of dementia, please share this video with them. You can either tag them below this video or share them privately, right? So please do that. I will be here on August 31st at noon, and we will be talking about preventing and managing type 2 diabetes naturally. We will talk about different foods, we will talk about different herbs as to how to balance your blood sugar. Becky Brown says turmeric again. Yeah, turmeric is my favorite. Susan is here as well. Hi, Susan. I was just logging off. We discussed all about dementia. We talked about 5 foods and 5 herbs. So if you have just joined us, please feel free to um, scroll back and catch the replay. Thank you all for joining me live. I will see you next week. Next week's topic is preventing and managing type 2 diabetes naturally. I host Wellness Wednesdays every Wednesday at noon on my Facebook page, on the Blue Water Nutrition Facebook page, as well as my Facebook group. So please keep watching and you can also follow me. Thanks and have a fantastic day. Bye for now.